welcome to XRP Focus. I hope you're all doing well and having a great day. Before we begin, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any important XRP updates. Your support truly helps this channel grow. Right now, something unusual is happening around XRP, and most people are completely overlooking it. On the surface, the market feels calm. Prices are not making dramatic moves, headlines are quiet, and social media seems distracted. But experienced investors know that this kind of silence is rarely random. In fact, it often appears right before something significant begins to unfold. XRP's current behavior is different from what we usually see during uncertain times. Instead of emotional reactions or sudden spikes, the price is moving with discipline and structure. This is not the type of movement driven by hype or fear. It's controlled, calculated, and intentional, and that alone should make people pay attention. When we look at market data from platforms like TradingView and CoinMarketCap, we see something interesting forming. Volatility has decreased, but stability has increased. This combination often signals preparation. Markets don't stay quiet forever. They build pressure, and eventually that pressure needs a release. What makes this moment even more important is how XRP is behaving compared to the rest of the crypto market. While many assets react emotionally to news or speculation, XRP appears calm and balanced. This usually happens when strong hands are involved, investors who move with patience rather than panic. On-chain data adds another layer to this picture. Large wallets are not rushing to sell. There's no mass exit, no signs of fear. Instead, activity suggests confidence. When major holders remain steady during uncertain moments, it often means they're expecting something ahead, something worth waiting for. One of the most overlooked signals right now is the lack of noise. No major hype campaigns, no exaggerated predictions flooding timelines. Historically, this kind of quiet environment often comes just before a strong move. When markets are loud, most opportunities are already gone. When they are quiet, opportunities are often being built. XRP's price action reflects this perfectly. It's not crashing, and it's not pumping. It's holding structure. This type of behavior is often associated with accumulation phases, moments when experienced investors quietly position themselves before momentum returns. Market psychology plays a huge role here. Most people wait for confirmation before acting. They wait until the price is already moving, until the headlines are loud, until everyone is talking about it. But by then, the opportunity has already passed. The real advantage comes from understanding the signs before the crowd reacts. Another important detail is emotional control. Emotional markets are unstable and unpredictable. Calm markets, on the other hand, are often preparing for something significant. XRP right now feels calculated, not chaotic. That kind of energy usually comes before a strong directional move. Many people believe that if nothing is happening, then nothing matters. But history has proven that some of the biggest market shifts begin during the quietest moments. Silence in the market doesn't mean inactivity. It often means preparation. This is where patience becomes a powerful tool. Those who chase noise usually arrive late. Those who study silence often arrive early. XRP appears to be in that silent phase right now, where positioning matters more than excitement. There's also a psychological aspect at play. When people stop paying attention, opportunities grow. When attention returns, prices react quickly. XRP's current behavior suggests that attention may soon return. And when it does, the reaction could be sudden. It's also important to understand that movements like these don't give long warnings. They don't wait for everyone to be ready. Once momentum starts, it often accelerates quickly, leaving little time for second chances. Right now, XRP seems to be standing at the edge of something meaningful. The signs aren't loud, but they are consistent. And consistency in the market is often more powerful than hype. This moment isn't about fear or excitement. It's about awareness. It's about understanding that calm periods are often the foundation of major moves, and if current signals continue developing the way they are now, the next phase could arrive sooner than many expect. Because when XRP moves, it doesn't always give advance notice. And when it does move, it moves fast. As we move deeper into what's happening around XRP, it becomes clear that this phase is not random. Markets rarely move without reason, and when they do, the signals are almost always visible, but only to those who know where to look. Right now, XRP is quietly showing signs that many are choosing to ignore. One of the biggest clues lies in market behavior itself. Price action isn't chaotic. There are no wild spikes, no emotional dumps, no panic reactions. Instead, what we're seeing is controlled movement. This kind of behavior often appears when larger players are involved, those who don't act on impulse but on strategy. When markets are being prepared for something bigger, noise usually disappears. news slows down, attention shifts elsewhere, and that's exactly when positioning happens. XRP seems to be in that phase now, a phase where activity continues but quietly, without drawing attention. Another key factor is volume behavior. While volume hasn't exploded, it also hasn't disappeared. This balance suggests accumulation rather than distribution. Smart money doesn't rush. It builds gradually, patiently, and strategically. This type of accumulation often goes unnoticed until it's too late for latecomers. There's also something important happening with sentiment. Many traders appear unsure, even bored. And strangely enough, that's often a powerful signal. When emotions cool off, decisions become more calculated. Markets don't move on excitement alone. They move when preparation meets opportunity. Historically, XRP has shown a pattern of staying quiet longer than expected, then moving suddenly and decisively. When that happens, price doesn't always give people time to react. Those who waited for confirmation usually end up chasing, while those who observed early remain calm. Another layer to this situation is timing. Markets tend to move when least expected, not when everyone is watching. Right now, attention across the crypto space is scattered. Focus is divided. That environment creates space for unexpected shifts, especially for assets that are already positioned quietly in the background. What's also important is the emotional state of retail investors. Many are tired, some are frustrated, others have simply stopped paying attention. Historically, these emotional conditions often appear right before momentum returns. When belief is low, opportunity tends to be high. XRP's stability during this period suggests resilience. While others fluctuate wildly, XRP holds structure. That kind of behavior is rarely accidental. It's often the result of long-term positioning rather than short-term speculation. We also have to consider how quickly sentiment can change. One update, one shift in perception, or one unexpected development can rapidly change the entire narrative. And when that happens, price usually reacts before people have time to process the news. This is why awareness matters more than excitement. Those who stay informed without becoming emotional are usually the ones who benefit the most. Markets don't reward panic, they reward patience and preparation. It's also worth noting that moments like this often test conviction. When nothing seems to be happening, doubt starts creeping in. People question their decisions. They look for reassurance elsewhere. But strong setups rarely feel exciting before they unfold. Another thing many overlook is how quickly momentum can build once it starts. Moves that take weeks to form can happen in hours once conditions align, and by the time the majority notices, the opportunity has already shifted. XRP's current position suggests that something is aligning behind the scenes. Not loud, not dramatic, just steady and intentional. This is often the calm before momentum begins to speak for itself. What's important now is awareness, not reaction. Watching the structure, understanding the signals, staying grounded while the market quietly prepares its next move. This phase is not about prediction, it's about readiness. Because when momentum finally shows itself, it rarely asks for permission. It simply moves. And when it does, those who are paying attention will understand exactly why this silence mattered. It's important to understand that markets rarely move in isolation. Every major shift is usually the result of multiple forces slowly aligning. What makes the current XRP situation so interesting is that many of those forces appear to be lining up quietly, without attracting attention. Right now, the market feels like it's holding its breath. There's no panic, no excitement, just a strange stillness. Historically, this kind of calm often appears right before a significant transition. It's the moment where pressure builds silently, waiting for a release. XRP has gone through long periods of uncertainty before, and each time the real movement began when most people had already stopped expecting anything. That pattern seems to be forming again. The lack of urgency in the market is not a sign of weakness, it's often a sign of preparation. One of the most important aspects to watch right now is behavior rather than headlines. News can be misleading, emotional, or delayed. Price behavior, on the other hand, often tells the truth before words ever do. And XRP's behavior is showing discipline, not chaos. Another subtle sign lies in how the market reacts to minor developments. In the past, small updates could cause exaggerated reactions. Now, even noticeable changes are being absorbed calmly. This suggests that the market is becoming more mature and controlled, a trait often seen before larger structural moves. It's also worth paying attention to how quickly fear disappears when nothing negative follows. This shows that confidence, while quiet, still exists beneath the surface. When fear loses its grip, momentum often starts building naturally. Many traders underestimate the power of patience. They assume action must always be loud and fast. But in reality, Some of the strongest movements begin during periods of waiting. XRP appears to be in that waiting phase, not stalled, but preparing. Another key factor is timing. Markets often move when the majority least expect it. Right now, attention is divided across countless narratives. This distraction creates the perfect environment for something unexpected to develop quietly. What's also interesting is how emotional reactions have softened. There's less panic, less excitement, and more observation. This emotional balance often appears when markets are transitioning from uncertainty into clarity. When clarity arrives, it usually does so quickly. Prices don't slowly ask for permission to move, they react. And when that reaction starts, those who were prepared feel calm, while those who weren't feel rushed. XRP's structure right now suggests readiness, not urgency, not weakness, readiness. That's an important distinction. Readiness means the groundwork has already been laid, even if the outcome hasn't revealed itself yet. It's also important to understand that markets don't reward impatience, they reward understanding. Those who stay focused during quiet moments often find themselves ahead when movement begins. At this point, many people are waiting for a clear signal, something obvious, something loud. But by the time that signal appears, the opportunity often shifts. The early phase is always subtle, almost unnoticeable. This is where discipline matters most. Ignoring noise, avoiding emotional decisions, trusting observation over impulse. These moments define successful positioning. XRP's current phase feels like a pause before direction, not a stop, a breath. And once that breath is released, movement tends to follow with purpose. It's also important to remember that not every move needs to be dramatic to be meaningful. Some of the most impactful shifts begin quietly and reveal their significance only in hindsight. Right now, XRP appears to be building toward something, not through chaos, but through structure. That's often how sustainable moves are born. As this phase continues, patience becomes a powerful advantage. Watching without reacting, understanding without rushing, preparing without forcing outcomes. Because when the market finally decides to move, it won't wait for confirmation or comfort. It will simply move. And when that moment arrives, those who understood the silence will recognize exactly what it meant. It becomes clear that what's happening around XRP isn't random or accidental. Every phase we've discussed leads toward a moment where quiet preparation turns into visible movement. And while no one can predict exact timing, the conditions forming right now deserve attention. Markets don't move when everyone is ready. They move when alignment quietly completes itself. Right now, XRP appears to be in that final stage of alignment. Not loud, not rushed, but deliberate. This is often the most misunderstood part of any market cycle. Many people mistake silence for inactivity, but silence in financial markets often means decisions are being made behind the scenes. The strongest moves are rarely announced in advance. They unfold when patience runs out and momentum takes over. What stands out most at this stage is balance. There's no panic, no euphoria, just steady positioning. That kind of balance is rare, and it often precedes a shift that surprises both optimists and skeptics alike. Another important element is timing. Markets tend to move when confidence quietly returns, not when fear dominates. Right now, fear has softened, but excitement hasn't taken over either. This emotional neutrality creates the perfect environment for a decisive move. XRP's structure continues to show stability rather than weakness. This stability isn't accidental. It suggests that whatever comes next will be built on a solid foundation rather than short-term speculation. And historically, moves built on structure tend to last longer and travel further. It's also worth noting that many people underestimate how quickly conditions can change. A market that feels slow today can become active almost instantly. Momentum doesn't announce itself. It arrives suddenly, often catching people off guard. What makes this moment especially important is how many are distracted. Attention is spread thin across countless narratives, trends, and noise. And when attention drifts, opportunities often form quietly in the background. This is where discipline separates reaction from strategy. Those who remain focused during quiet periods usually respond with clarity when movement begins. Those who chase excitement often react too late. XRP appears to be approaching a point where clarity replaces uncertainty, not through hype or noise but through gradual alignment. This kind of setup doesn't demand attention, it earns it. Another factor to consider is patience. Many people underestimate how powerful patience can be when combined with awareness. Markets often reward those who wait calmly rather than those who rush emotionally. There's also a psychological element at play. When people stop expecting something to happen, that's often when it does. Expectations fade, pressure releases, and movement follows naturally. This phase feels like a deep breath before motion, a pause before progression, a moment where everything is in place, waiting for momentum to activate. And when that moment arrives, it won't need explanation. The shift will be felt. Those who stayed observant will understand immediately why this quiet period mattered. It's important to remember that not every opportunity announces itself loudly. Some simply appear when conditions align. XRP seems to be approaching that kind of moment. The goal now isn't prediction, it's preparation, understanding the environment, recognizing the patterns, staying mentally ready without emotional attachment, because when momentum finally begins, it rarely slows down for anyone, and those who prepared calmly often move with confidence while others scramble for clarity. As this phase comes to a close, one thing becomes clear. Silence doesn't mean nothing is happening. Often it means everything is getting ready. XRP stands at a point where direction may soon replace stillness, and when that happens, the story will shift quickly. For now, awareness matters more than action, patience matters more than prediction, and understanding matters more than noise. The next move may not announce itself, but when it arrives, it will be impossible to ignore.